Welcome back to the channel, and what we have today is the Subaru Solterra, which I think is probably the best all-wheel drive electric SUV on the market at the moment. It's not perfect by any means, but we're going to run through the outside, the inside, and then take it out for a drive. Stylistically, you can see straight away that this partnership between Subaru and Toyota, it's pretty identical on the road, but there are some differences, and I think the Subaru actually looks a bit better in my opinion. The headlights don't have that weird eyebrow thing going on. They're LED, and they also get an all LED fog lights, which you don't get in the Toyota. It also has this grille effect, black gloss outline, again you don't get in the Toyota. Has no frunk, some air in underneath there for battery cooling, and then some air curtain slots at the side. You also, on both trims, and it comes in two different trims, the Limited and the Touring, you have your headlight washers on the Subaru. So very much it is all-wheel drive all of the time, and that's why I think it's probably the best all-wheel drive EV in the marketplace, and at a price point in Ireland of 51,995 or 56,995 depending on which trim level you go for. That's including the government grants. I think it's pretty good value. Now, there are some downsides, and we will get to that. The bonnet has this large glass black panel, very similar to the likes of the ID3. You've got your sensor system up here. Then down along the side, you've got two different wheel sizes. You've got 18-inch on the Limited and 20-inch on the Touring. So the Touring with the 20-inch has a smaller range, and the range WLTP is around about that mid 400. Unfortunately, we're not getting that at the moment. Just efficiency is not one of the strong points of the Solterra. This is also a huge talking point, this black dark grey cladding that starts off in the front quarter panel and then goes up over the wheel arch and then cuts through the charging port. You have your Type 2 CCS on AC. Peak charging is 7 kilowatt, and on DC the peak charging is 150 kilowatt, and that's at the very empty battery, and then it ramps down, so not the best charging curve on the Solterra as well. It's a 71.4 kilowatt hour battery with 64 of that usable. Glass black wing mirror, nice little quarter panel here for a bit of extra visibility. You've got the 360 camera, so you can see one underneath here. You've also got one on the front as well. You've got your cladding down along the side just to give it a bit more sportiness. You've got the glass black roof rails. On the Touring edition you have the Pano sunroof, keyless entry, body coloured door handles, glass black B-pillar, and then the C-pillar swoops up in body colour, so it brings it all the way back around. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. We're on a big drive to get to 15,000 subscribers, so all the subscribers help. And if you're interested in this type of content, we review cars, vans, buses, e-bikes, etc. So all things electric vehicles. Down along the back of the Subaru Solterra, you've got your body-coloured shark fin aerial. You've got the winglets either side. Large rear pane of glass with your high level brake lamp up the top with no wiper on that. Small little glass black spoiler, your large Subaru badge. It is slightly different to the BZ4X, it is a different moulding, so you have these different shapes going on. And then around the car, on the rear and on the two sides, including the side port, you've got that Solterra and that illuminated, nearly, it looks like it's illuminated in the sunshine here today, EV badging. And then your Subaru badge on the other side. It doesn't have a side-to-side tail light bar like the BZ4X has. Automatic tail lift, good wide, deep, practical boot, 441 litres in the Touring version, because you've got that Harman Kardon system, some space in underneath then for your charge cables, etc. You've got some tie-off points, you've got a tannoy cover parcel shelf. And what I can't see is there doesn't seem to be any 12 volt. It's a 60-40 split on the rear with no hatch all the way through, but practicality wise and ease of access in and out can't be beaten. Subaru also has the ability to tow up to 750 kgs. More of that glass black SUV cladding in underneath, and you can see where the tow bar fitting would go here. Ground clearance is another big benefit if you're looking for something that's going to be a bit more off-road, of 210 millimeters. So again, with that all-wheel drive, with that ground clearance, I think it's a winner if you do intend to not go crazy, but definitely if you're in a bit more of a rugged environment and you want to go all EV, the Subaru Solterra may be for you. Inside of the Solterra is really where you start to see the difference with regards to a traditional car versus this interpretation from the Japanese market. On the door you've got a lot of gloss black going on, and on the touring trim you have the memory seats for the driver. You also have electrically adjustable for the passenger. You've got your Harman Kardon sound system. You've got your Pano sunroof. You've got your Qi wireless charging pad as well. So with all these extra bits, it is affecting the range. Not a bad size door pocket, not huge. Maybe 2 bottles is probably all you're going to fit into it. And you've got your electrically adjusted door mirrors, center locking, etc. on the door with that Harman Kardon speaker. Over my right knee, it's the automatic light button and also the tailgate, small little pocket here, and then the boot trunk bonnet lifter. Then you've got your instrument dial, illumination up or down, and then your odometer button on over my left knee. Steering wheel is 3-spoke. It is feels nice on the hand. It's leather clad or faux leather clad, and again that's another difference between the limited and the touring. The limited edition has the fabric seats and the touring has the faux leather. Steering wheel on the left hand side, it's audio, voice control, phone, etc. And then the right hand side is all your driver assist, your lane keep, your speed control, your adaptive cruise control, etc. Behind that then you have your regenerative braking paddles. So there's 4 levels on the actual steering wheel, and then there's the strongest one is the 1-pedal driving button in the center console. Lights and indicators on the left, and on the wipers. On footage you'll see that and it's one thing that the Subaru Solterra does well, I suppose, is the driver monitoring system, which is going to be regulations now from next year in Europe, general safety regulations too. So you'll see the flashing lights on camera, but to the naked eye you don't. But if you're looking at the screen for too long, if you're looking at the window for too long, if you're not paying attention, I have a habit of driving with my hand at the top of the steering wheel as well. It'll start beeping and blooping at you to saying, can't monitor the driver, what's going on. Then you've got the bridge, very similar to the Toyota BZ4X. It's kind of a halfway house between instrument cluster and head-up display. It's in that middle zone, so you're not shifting focus. I've set the seat for me, I'm 188 centimeters, 6'2", and they've obviously understood that as well, because the bottom of the screen, the little dome of the steering wheel, is actually not covering anything. All the information is above that dome and up. So you've got the actual screen itself, and then you've got the lights, which are on either side. So handbrake, seatbelt not on, car is ready. Outside temperature today is 16 degrees. You've got a great sound system in here with the Harman Kardon. You've got this textured fabric recycled across the dash. You've got a large 12.3-inch screen. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto, and I'm an Android user, so I have to actually plug in when I want Android, which is a small bit of a downer. You have your physical buttons. The screen isn't bad, actually. The satellite navigation, the built-in one, is a couple of different English women telling me what to do. So there's one that gives the directions, and then they've hired somebody else to give the actual street name. So there's a difference in the 2 voices. You've got some physical buttons for volume. You've got physical buttons for temperature, which is great. And then obviously your hazard lights. But air conditioning, automatic. You can automatically heat your steering wheel and your driver's seat. So it knows what temperature you're looking to get to, and it'll actually do it itself. You don't have to switch it on or switch it off. It's physical power button. You have your drive modes, which are power, eco, and standard or normal. And then also you have X mode, which is snow and mud and deep snow and mud. You've got your parking cameras, you've got your stability control on or off, 1-pedal drive we talked about, automatic handbrake control, you have to press it every time, and then your handbrake, your electronic handbrake. The gear selector is a turny knob. You push down the collar for reverse, and then drive, push for neutral, and then parking is a button above it. You've got on the touring trim, you've got the wireless charging pad, which is kind of keeps everything hidden away inside here. There's a little kind of a mesh, but there is a bit of glass black going on, so fingerprint and dust does come out. You've got your water cup or cup holders here. This gets kind of caught in it, and then to open this, it has to be all the way back, and then you press the button. Storage unit there, and a massive storage in underneath. In underneath then, here as well, in the center console, you've got 2 USB Type-Cs and a 12-volt, but you also have this absolutely biblical owner's manual. Huge. And that fits down in there because there is no glove box on the far side. Up on the head unit, you have the ability to turn off the internal sensors. You have the ability to close the blind, one touch, which is good as well. On some models you do get the camera for the rear view. It's not on this one that I have on test today. I'm 6'2", 188 centimeters with a 33 leg, so seating wise and visibility wise, I'm actually fine with it, but I have heard people that have issue with viewing the screen through the steering wheel or because the steering wheel is blocking it. It does go back when you exit, which is a nice touch. It gets easier to swivel in and swivel out. Let's have a seat in the back to see what the space is like in the back of the Subaru Solterra. In the back of the Subaru Solterra, on the door you just have your own window control, a lot glass black going on with some silver. Probably the same, nearly the same storage as in the front door. 2 bottles is the prioritise that, and the window doesn't go, or it does go all the way down if you looked at my first review. So this is my second look, first drive of the Solterra. If you've already seen the other review, I've gone through all this already. Some magazine holders. That seat has come back even with me in it, and it still have the ability to put my legs up. Now they're touching, but by the time I sit into that and it brings me back the way forward, nice sculpted seats. I can fit my feet in underneath. There's a small inch lip. We've got some heated seats, 3 levels, 2 USB Type-Cs, 2 zones, 2 air vents, apologies. And then we also have some cup holders and a phone, tablet, pen holder. You can move these seats. So this one you can see is further back than this one. And so you can adjust it. There is a bit of reach, sorry, a bit of rake in that. You've got your courtesy light up here, which is LED. Pity that there is that support structure in the middle of the sunroof, just because it is such a beautiful addition to the car, and it's kind of taken up a lot of it, but definitely brings it a lot more airy inside here. I've only seen the black interior in UK and Ireland trims, but I have seen in some of the North American trims you can get a brighter interior, which I really like as well. Nice little window behind to let more light into it. That's the interior of the Subaru Solterra. Let's take it out for a drive. To drive it, there's a lot of beeps and bloops. Okay. And we're away. Visibility to start off with. Wing mirrors are a really nice size. They've minimized the blind spot down at the A-pillar. Good visibility at the front, very good visibility at the back actually as well, with that central headrest down. Would you fit 3 adults in it? Like all medium-sized SUVs, I'm not sure. Suspension is firm-ish, but it's not bad. What I do love about it, and why I'd say it's probably the best all-wheel drive electric SUV, is just the traction. And when I was talking to somebody in Subaru this week, that when I got the car from them, they said, we had biblical rain last week here in Ireland, but this week it's been fairly sunny. And they said, I hope you get the rain that we had last week, just to show you that it's mightn't be all terrain, but it's definitely an all-weather electric vehicle. Steering wheel is a good size. There's probably a lot of buttons on there that people don't want, but it's better to have physical buttons than the gloss black haptic stuff on some of the other brands. Do I like the driver infotainment cluster? I do, actually do. It gives me enough information, and I can see it just with my body makeup and my height. The traction is just, it'll pull you through anything. It is, you can just feel how squat it is on the road. I just pity the efficiency isn't as good as what it could be. And this is normal mode. The torque in normal mode. So it's a all-wheel drive. It's an 80 kilowatt motor on each axle, and the motor actually on the front axle is a short, stubby one because of the turning radius of the driving wheels, and then in the rear it's a long, flat motor because of the boot. Make sure that it's not compromising the boot. So even though it's the same output, it's different shapes. Both giving you just over 107 horsepower each, so 215 horsepower across both of them. 0 to 100 is in 6.5 seconds, so it's not the fastest, but it's not the slowest. The only thing that's letting this down for me is the efficiency, and I believe there was a software update that's coming down the line to maybe there's a lot of buffer there in 6-7 kilowatt hour in the battery, so you probably could get another couple of kilowatt hours out of that battery to give you that bit more range. But at the moment, and I am Captain Slow, and anybody who knows me knows that I do not drive aggressively, and to get a 21.6, very little motorway, The auto hold that has to be put on every time drives me a bit crazy, but you get used to it. Levels of regen, level 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if you press the one pedal, it's not quite one pedal, but it does have a fair bit. When I let off, you can see it going back into. As a family SUV, safety is hugely important to those buying them, so it's great to see that this has achieved 5-star Euro NCAP as well in the safety tech, and in the safety test you can see where manufacturers are taking into account all of the things that's required, and this comes with a lot of driver assist, lane keep, adaptive cruise control, driver monitoring, so there's a lot of good things going on here with the Subaru Solterra. Another thing I like about the Subaru Solterra is that the heat pump comes at standard, so anything that will help that efficiency it's not great as it is, so it's interesting to see in winter time, would it hold or does it get any worse? Obviously we're at 18 degrees here in August in 2023. I like the steering weight, I like the accelerator, how it's set up, and the brakes are good as well, so like there's a lot to like about it. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Subaru Solterra. Is it on your shopping list if you're looking for that all-wheel drive, all-electric SUV? What else would you go against it in an all-wheel drive variant? It's hard to argue with that Subaru legacy, and that's what they brought to that Toyota partnership. They definitely brought that driving dynamic, even though with the BZ4X you can get it in only front-wheel drive as well. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Make sure you like the video, share it, and remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.